Hello everybody and welcome back to F2B Infinity from the Ryotcraft server. And today I'm going to be talking to you about power, and not the power of your sword or your bow, in this case a crossbow, which should fire. Oh, I think it is firing, but you just can't see it. Haha! Or even flower power. No, we're going to be talking about real power. Power for machines. RF power. And we're going to get on to that. We've got not very good power situation so far. What I have had, you might have seen I had a big reactor up here that I used for a little while. And well, I've got a little bit of power storage here. I had these Stirling generators. And around here I've got some magnetic dynamos and a lava generator. But we're going to get on to some more power. I mean, really, you really need to go overboard when you're in modded, I feel. So we're going to try and get a lot of power. I'm not sure quite what I'm going to be using it for yet, but I just want lots. And there are quite a few options. As you've seen, we've got lots of things based on lava power. And if we go over to, let's see, the mining world, we can see what most of the people on the server have been using, which is these ultimate solar power, solar panels. So they've set these up in the mining world and constantly day here, so they constantly gather power. And these things, so if we look at solar, the ultimate ones do 32,000 RF per tick. And that's all well and good, and this will generate a large amount of power. But seriously? A single block to do 32,000 RF per tick? Why do something in a single block when you can make some huge, enormous kind of structure to do the same thing? So, if we go over to my space base, you can see what I've been working on over here. Why do something in a single block when you can make something like this? So what we have here is a nuclear reactor, and this nuclear reactor is capable of putting out 16,000 millibuckets per tick of steam. Each of these turbines I've got set up here are capable of using 2,000 millibuckets of steam per tick, and we've got 8 of them, or almost got 8 of them. And therefore, they will use up the 16,000 millibuckets of steam per tick that the reactor will put out. And that actually uses this nuclear fuel, which is the yellorium, very efficiently. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through building one of these steam turbines. I have got all of the things I need up here. Wait, let's just put back on my outfit. And we'll grab everything out of this chest. All of that. So what you when you use a nuclear reactor, there are two modes that you can use it in. You can use it in the mode where the nuclear reactor itself generates the power, and then you just have a power tap on this and you take the power straight out. Or you put on these coolant ports, and these ones are outputs, so they pump the steam out of the nuclear reactor. Then you need to pump water into the nuclear reactor, and that's what these input coolant ports are for. And I've just got these set up with water coming in, with these transfer nodes, word interaction upgrades, and speed upgrades. This amount here is able to do 8,000 millibuckets per tick. I've got 2 of those, so that's for 16,000 millibuckets per tick that we need. And you can actually recycle the water back from the turbines and have a full closed loop, but I wasn't too fussed with doing that. Just easier to do it that way, I find. Then you pump that steam down into the turbines. The only thing I could find that really could transfer the steam properly was these super laminar fluid ducts. Now, these are kind of funny. Thermodynamics, they've got the servos that you add in, and a servo can't actually pump out at that rate, but thankfully the reactor does pump out at a good enough rate to push it through here. I was initially I put drums in between as a kind of reservoir, which did not work, so just went straight for doing it this way. So I've tried to figure out what is kind of a really efficient way of doing this, and what I've got here is 7x7x11 turbine. It's surrounded by the turbine housing, and I'll tell you one little trick with this. A builder's wand is actually really handy when building these things. So you can use either the turbine housing or the turbine glass, but obviously the glass looks better, to surround the whole thing. And if you do it this way, let's see, we just want to surround the whole outside. I'm not sure with the normal, why are these not placing? Oh, there we go. Not sure with the normal builder's wand will do this, but the super builder's wand can do the whole lot at once. All the way up and very quickly fill up. So once you've got the surrounds done, then you want to put a shaft all the way up the middle, and that goes to that height. Yep. And the turbines work by the top blade part turns around and it drives the shaft, which is running through that bottom part, which is the part that generates the actual power. And depending on what material you use there, you'll generate different amounts of power. What I'm using here is ludicrite blocks, which are the best to use. They're kind of expensive. You either use a nether star and blocks of emeralds and plutonium, or Enderium. Now, I actually happen to have a lot of Enderium, so I just went this route to do it. Initially, I went that route. Then I ended up making a molten ludicrite RF Tools world and got a whole lot more from that. Way more than what I ever need. So we've placed all that, and actually I could have done that with the builder's wand as well. But this is the real trick. So we're going to have 7 layers of these turbine blades, 4 layers of ludicrite, 7 layers of this. And this is something that's very good to use the builder's wand for, because as you see, very simple to place the blocks there. And that's all we need there. Now, at the top of that, we need a rotor bearing. The turbine controller is going to go there. Our two power ports are going to go there. Fluid port there. And then we just have to fill in the rest with some more of this turbine glass. Whack that in there. And I was in the way of that, but there we go. And once it switches its look like that, all the blocks join up, you can tell that it's going to work. So, next thing I'm going to do is actually turn it on. All of the other ones are activated at the moment. And there's, well, this one actually had a bit of steam in the pipe, so it's actually already generating, well, 1.8 RPM and 12 RF. Wow. I also added in these two big capacitor banks. No reason that I've got two like that, except for kind of the symmetry of the thing. And these power conduits that I'm using are able to, well, they're able to transfer basically infinite amount of RF per tick. It says when you look at them, and I don't have one on me right now, so let's just grab one. It says when you look at them, 20,000 RF per tick. But that is just how much it can either take in or push out through one of the connections. So each of these turbines will do more than 20,000 RF per tick. It's about 28,000. So I've got two connections there because it's going to do more than the 20,000 that one can do. And I've got lots of connections around here. You only need two connections per turbine, so 4 for these two, 4 for those two. But you need a lot more when I was trying to get it to share the power between the two different sides. And I wonder if it's just juggling power backwards and forwards. It looks like it might be doing that. That might be a problem. But what we should do now is actually fire up the whole thing. All of the turbines are turned on. So as soon as I start up this reactor, it will start producing steam. And it's producing 14,000. I hope that goes up to 16,000. It should. Otherwise I've got a problem. Or one of my turbines is turned off. That one. Aha! Because it will only produce it if it's able to actually output it. And now it's doing 16,000. Good stuff. It's actually funny, the reactor actually runs way less efficient when it's not running all 8 like this. So that's producing the 16,000 millibuckets, or 16 buckets, and we are getting 1,000 or almost 2,000 RF per tick. Now that is one of the, I guess, downsides of this. They take quite a while to spin up, and as you can see at the moment we're only getting 14,000. I'm not very happy with that switching around like that, so I'm going to just knock that out for a second, because I think it's doing some kind of juggling of power backwards and forwards. I was actually wondering whether I'm going to join this whole battery up around the back anyway. I might do that. But, so each side, so this side is doing 12,000 at the moment, these 4 things, and this side is doing the same. So let's just wait a few minutes and see what happens. these turbines have now come up to speed, and if we have a look in here, it is generating per turbine 28,000 RF per tick. The speed of it is we've got just over 17, well, just under 1800 RPM. And if you look at this tooltip, it works best at 900 or 1800. So we're not too far off there. It's roughly ideal. I actually disconnected these because otherwise this capacitor bank was going to be completely full before they even came up to speed. So I'll just join these back up now, and we can get a measure of the total power we get from one half of this system, so each half is getting us, wait until it stabilizes, which is just the energy banks out of those going out. So each half is going to get us, well, 111,000 RF per tick, which is not too bad if you ask me. And so that's, I guess, the equivalent of 3 of those ultimate solar panels, which these are a bit of a pain to make. You've got to make a whole lot of the base ingredients. I mean, so for that you have to make 8 of those per one of those, and then 8 of those per one of those, so it just multiplies up like that. That's just a crafting job that you can automate and so on. But tell me that this does not look a lot cooler than 3 ultimate solar panels, or in fact both sides together would make 6 ultimate solar panels. Tell me this doesn't look cooler. This is so much better. Just a huge machine to do the same job. Why do something in a single block when you can use, I'm not going to count them, but a lot of blocks. Now we've got to figure out something to do with all this power. So I'll have a little think about that and be back with you a little bit later. And we're back. And it's actually been quite a while since those earlier clips. I got a bit distracted by Christmas, and then Ark came along, and I've been playing a lot of Ark recently, and I've got a few videos out on that. But I also got into the vanilla server quite a lot. That came out, and doing a lot there. But now I just thought I really need to firstly finish up this episode and then get back into some of the Infinity. There are a lot of things I've got left to do on here. So I've got the reactor all up and going, and I was trying to find ways to use the power that this is generating, and it's generating about 228 or 224,000 RF per tick, one of those numbers. So I was looking at the different options. One option that I decided to try out was the Mine Factory Reloaded lasers, and I have set up 6 of those here, and I've put different focuses in them. I've mainly gone for yellow to try and get yellowite. It also gets glowstone, so that's kind of handy. And there's some blue and some orange, primarily to get ardite and cobalt, which I don't get from the quarries that I run, so that's kind of handy. So switch this guy on, and we can go back to the base, which I always tend to fall through the floor and freak myself out for a second, but that's okay. And then all of the stuff feeds into here. So I left this running for probably about 15-20 minutes, and this is what I got out of it. As you see, glowstone, yellowite. Doesn't get a lot, to be honest. It's for the amount of power that it uses, it's not that great. So at the moment, with this running, the system is actually losing power. So 7,000 there should be... Okay, that one's just staying even. But yeah, it's not particularly great with its resource usage. So I decided to try a different option. So let's go turn that one off. The other option I thought I'd try was going for quarries. So we'll go over here. And I set up a brand new quarry because my other one had run out. And this one I have a... Under here there's a Speed 3 upgrade and a Fortune 3 upgrade. And I switch that one on, and as you can see, it goes pretty quickly. Speeding through the columns and rows here. It goes pretty well. Let's go back to the base and see what it's doing. So one thing I found with this, because it is speed and fortune, we end up getting too much stuff coming in here for this to actually handle. So I'll have to do some rejigging of this to actually make it work well, but I'll get onto that later. But that Fortune 3 and Speed 3 is a bit of an overkill, because we're losing, what, 300,000 RF, and this one will be doing the... This one's not doing anything. Why is that not doing anything? That should be ignored. It's on the right one. It is sending energy. Oh, that's strange. It's taking it all from the one side. 270 sending energy. Well, it was on low anyway, so that shouldn't have been a problem. Configuration. That one's an output. I wonder when this one runs out whether it will switch to the other one. But anyway, it's obviously, even if it was using both sides, we would still be losing energy overall on that. So I will run that quarry from time to time. I'll leave it running right now. But the other thing I wanted to do with the energy is probably do a few RF tools dimensions, and I was trying to get somewhere around here. I've got different dimlets. I really need to get a lot of dimlets to find all the ones that I need. There are lots of rare ones and so on. So what I want to do next episode is set up an Enderman farm, a spawner and killing system for that, and probably also I might do a automated wither farm. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. So until next time, I hope you've enjoyed the episode. I hope that you've learned something about the reactors and the turbines out of this. It's quite a lot of fun to set up, and if we just go have another look, I think it looks pretty good. So yep, until next time, take care, have a great week, and I'll see you all later. Bye!